Let's speak to the Chancellor Rishi Sunak, who joins us once again on the programme. Chancellor, really good to see you this morning. And no England shirt on. I'm gobsmacked, but I have to say, very pleased to see you. Were you up late last night?
I was. I am at least wearing a red tie, Neil, so that's my attempt at wearing the England shirt during my work day. But yeah, no, I was up late, absolutely overjoyed. Tense at times, obviously, but fantastic night, great for the country. First time in my lifetime we'll be in a final of a major competition, so can't wait.
And as regards that final, I mean, is it coming home? Do you think you can do it?
You know what, I do. I feel good. I mean, Euro 96 was my football tournament coming of age. I remember it passionately. It was an amazing summer. It feels like that all over again. Wembley last night. What a spectacle to have everyone cheering the way they were. We haven't seen that in so long. It felt absolutely amazing. It was tense at times, no point pretending otherwise, and maybe a bit of a soft penalty, but we got there in the end. And watching Sterling run past everybody time after time, it was amazing. I am overjoyed, and I can't wait. So
I'm just going to point out to viewers that it was you that said it was a soft penalty and not me. But just a reflection, though, Chancellor, on what this might mean to the country. We've all had 16 months of a pretty torrid time. Even getting to a final is a remarkable achievement by Gareth Southgate and the boys.
I think it's an amazing moment for the country. And we've obviously had it's been a tough year for lots of different reasons, but to have this to look forward to at the end of it is absolutely fantastic. And it reminds us of what life was like before we had to deal with coronavirus, actually. To have people at a football match, to have us sharing in an experience as a country together, something that brings us together. You could see that on the fans last night. You could see that across the country, households everywhere. And I know everyone's going to be looking forward to Sunday with an extra 45 minutes in the pub as well.
Indeed so. Well, I can't be taking advantage. I've got to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning come Monday. But let's, of course, 55 years. 55 years since your last appearance in a major final. Just a year, though, since the anniversary. Just a year, though, since you launched your plan for jobs. See what I did there? Something you're celebrating today as well, I imagine.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, that's right. A year ago today, we launched the plan for jobs, and I'm delighted that we stuck to that plan and the plan is working. I was out and about all day yesterday in the West Midlands, in Wolverhampton, and every business I went to, I could see our plan in action. New kickstarters, young people starting their new jobs, doing so well, apprentices, learning new skills, people who've been brought back from furlough successfully, and businesses that now, having got through the crisis with our support, are looking to expand and grow. The unemployment numbers are far lower than we feared a year ago when I stood up and outlined the plan for jobs. So I am absolutely delighted that it is working, and it doesn't end here. We've got support that continues throughout the year, and we want to drive our recovery forward now, and that's what I know we can achieve.
What we did have yesterday in the past 24 hours, though, was confirmation that the £20 uplift to universal credit is coming to an end. Just explain that decision, because there are a number of people, including colleagues within your own party, Ian Duncan Smith, suggesting that it was a way by which people could live with some dignity. Why remove it, and why remove it now?
It was always meant to be a temporary measure, along with lots of other things that we've done. We've been dealing with an unprecedented crisis that required us to do some extraordinary things. But of course, those things can't carry on forever, whether it's the furlough scheme or other things. So universal credit is part of that overall package of support, but it's just one thing. I think the focus we have is trying to get as many people as possible into work and into well-paid work. So what you've seen, the national living wage has gone up this year. That's worth £350 for someone working full-time on the national living wage, and we're providing huge number of opportunities for people to get new skills, to upskill themselves, to earn more, and to get better jobs. The Prime Minister's Lifetime Skills Guarantee ensures that everyone will have the chance to find a better future for themselves, and that's what we need to focus on now that the economy is reopening, businesses are booming, and we want to get people into work.
Sure, it is, as you say, but a part of a package of assistance for people. But it is a fairly fundamental and significant part of it. I mean, during the liaison committee yesterday, the Prime Minister had it pointed out to them, if you go ahead with this cut, unemployment support will be, in real terms, at its lowest point for 30 years. That's not something any Chancellor should be proud of.
Well, what I can say is support for people finding new jobs or better jobs or getting new skills is probably higher than it has ever been. So there are currently 10 million adults in the UK who don't have a level 3 qualification. For the first time, the Prime Minister outlined last year, the government will fully fund those adults to get that qualification. That's worth £3,500 roughly. And if you get a qualification like that, your chance of getting a job or earning more in a new job goes up significantly. So that's just one example of the things we're doing to help people. We're giving businesses £3,000 to take on new apprentices and paying 95% of the training cost for that apprentices to create opportunities for people there. And I think that's the right approach. The best way long-term to help people is to help them get into well-paid work. And we are throwing the kitchen sink at that as part of our plan for jobs. And we did it early. I said a year ago today we outlined the plan. It's worked over the last year and it continues to work, and we should have confidence that it will help drive our recovery and help provide people with the opportunities they need.
People understand that perhaps, yes, in the long term, that may well be the priority and that may well be that may well lead to the best outcome. But in the short term, people still have to put food on the table, shoes on their children's feet, and pay their bills. And as things stand, 2.2 million people receiving universal credit right now are in work. They're not off work. 2.2 million are currently in work. Is there not something structurally, significantly wrong with our labour market when you can have in excess of 2 million people receiving this form of benefit while still turning up and having a job?
Well, we've also done some other things to improve the generosity of our welfare system in other ways.
Let's talk about universal credit. Let's talk about universal credit. 2.2 million people are in receipt of it whilst working.
Well, hang on. They're also in receipt of other things, and actually we put an extra £1 billion a year into something called local housing allowance, which helps those people who are struggling with their rent bills. So over 1 million people will benefit from around £600 a year from that. And for those that are in work, as you say, the best way to help them is to make sure that their wages rise. That's why our increase to the national living wage is important. That's worth £350 for someone full-time on the national living wage. And that's why giving them the opportunity to get new skills and then earn more in the same job or a different job is really important. And that's why the lifetime skills guarantee, as I said, that's worth £3,500 when someone gets one of those qualifications or does an apprenticeship as part of their work to gain some new skills. That is the right long-term way to help people, and that's where we're investing our money.
Something we discussed in some depth with your colleague, the Business Secretary, yesterday, the delay to the change in rules around self-isolation. There has been something of a furious backlash from the business community, well, in fact, even from your own party. Ian Duncan-Smith says he won't be going to the pub because there's no point in doing so because you're going to get pinged. Julian Metcalf, the founder of Pret and Itsu, said that it is completely and utterly mental. Richard Walker, the boss of Iceland, said, what an S show.
But I appreciate people's frustration with this. It's part of a, what I call the Prime Minister called a balanced approach. We want to make sure that we proceed with the appropriate degree of caution. And I think what people hopefully can look at is the enormously positive news of the restrictions being removed. So whether you're a hospitality business, you can see now that the 1 metre plus rule is going. It was one of the biggest things that businesses talked to me about. The restrictions on the number of people coming together to eat at a restaurant or go out will also be removed when we move to this step. These are big changes that mean we have a huge degree of freedom back. And I appreciate people's frustration, but I'd also urge them to look at the positives as well.
But just in terms of test and trace, in terms of finding people who've come into close contact with people who test positive for COVID-19 and would be required to self-isolate, we've gotten rid of the requirement, or we will get rid of on July the 19th, the requirement for people to check into venues, the QR codes. We know, it's been reported anecdotally, and it's in the papers today, that people are deleting the NHS app en masse. How will we find people that need to self-isolate without the ability to track people moving in and out of hospitality venues if they're not using the NHS app?
Well, I trust people to exercise appropriate responsibility and judgment, and I know that they will continue to do so, as they have done over the last year and a half. But look, I've spoken to the Health Secretary about this, and he's aware of the frustrations that people have around this. And what I'd say is that we have two different systems for the test and trace. We have, obviously, the NHS one, and then we also have the app. And I know most people's concerns rest with how the app is working, and the Health Secretary is aware of that. That accounts for the majority of people who need to isolate, I understand, on the numbers, and he's looking at what the most appropriate, balanced and proportionate approach to isolation is in these circumstances.
Mr. Sunak, well done again on last night. Best of luck for Sunday, and thanks very much for talking to us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Take care.